Mr. CHIRITOIU is the Romanian Competition Council Chairman. He's going to contribute to our panel discussion. Mr. Chairman serves as the President of the Romanian Competition Council since 2009. He has a PhD in economics and a master's degree from LSE. He's a member of some of the most important Romanian and European think tanks. To give a name, a few: Romanian Society of Political Science, the network of institutes and schools of public administration in Central and Eastern Europe, and Romanian Academic Society. Dr. CHIRITOIU is a lecturer on economics and European studies at the University of Bucharest. Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation to take part in this debate. And I'm sure it's one of many to come, but hopefully the next ones will allow us to have a closer meetings. Maybe next year we restart having some of the meetings in physical format, not just in the online one. But again, many thanks for the invitation to take part in this debate, both to you and to the Turkish colleagues and to the other speakers.
The pleasure is ours, indeed.
I have a pretty long presentation, so I'll just zip through it. If, of course, anybody is interested, there could be follow-up questions, or we could be engaged separately. But some of the themes that we already had from Teresa or from Ms. Khan or from Chairman Gheraoui, I will reiterate some of them. So some echoes will be in my presentation. First of all, there's a lot of, as was being said, there's a lot of legislation being prepared at EU level, and then we, the member states, will shape it, will adapt it to our national realities. Most of this legislation is ex ante, is giving powers to authorities to shape the digital market ex ante. That's new. This means that there's the perception in Europe, and I think in US, as we've heard, that traditional competition tools are too slow for the fast-moving digital markets. That's why we complement our traditional ex-post tools with these new fancy ex-ante rules, which are going to be, the drafts of which are going to be presented pretty soon by the European Commission. The one exception, I said most of them are ex-ante, is the new competition tool, which looks to be something that what is not very European, at least the European Commission does not have the possibility to break up companies, to unmerge companies. Americans used to have it, and they used to use it, and now they are trying to use it on, as we've seen on Facebook. So that's a tool that the Commission feels the need to have it in the arsenal too. So far, there hasn't been that much legislation. The only one that is already in force is the platform to business regulation, which gives, again, is ex ante and gives some rules about the relationship between the platforms and the people who use them to sell to their clients. That's the one we are close to transposing in Romania to start implementing it. So it came into force this year. So we have draft legislation in Romania to make it work, and we, the competition authority, are going to be entrusted to make it work. We just wait to have a functioning government. As you might know, we had election in Romania 1 week ago. So once we are going to have a functioning government after the elections, I think the legislation will be passed. Also, we want to look at unfair competition, assessing generally the balance of power between larger companies, not non-dominant but large companies, and smaller companies in their environment. It's the larger picture where I see this platform to business coming into. So if you want, for me, platform to business is the digital version of unfair competition rules. Okay, So waiting for the legislation and preparing to enforce it. We've done a lot of studies on digital. So you have here a list. I won't go into details, but we looked at the way the platforms work. We looked at e-commerce. We looked at the sharing economy. We are currently getting more into details into the ride-hailing services, and we have just finished a big data platform study, which is now under public. The results of it are under public consultation. The 1 hour pride of place, is that we have just finalized a couple of weeks ago an investigation, an abuse investigation against our largest domestic platform. It's a bit, we work closely with the European Commission. There's no coincidence. There are many similarities between the investigation of the Commission in Google and the thing we've done in our own investigation. I think what I think is interesting, not is just one of the few investigations finalized in Europe, but also the fact that we combine a relatively limited fine against the company with rather intrusive measures. Especially what we wanted to make sure, and we got the company to agree with, because they settled, so they accepted the fine and they accepted the measures imposed on them, was that they should separate their businesses between structure. They have a structural separation between their platform business and their direct sales business, and also that the data generated from these businesses should be offered to their in aggregated form to their sellers, if you want, to their competitors. Finally, we decided that we need to, this emphasis on digital markets has to have a structural home, so we created a new task force inside the organization. It's not a complete different unit. It gets people from our sectoral divisions. Why? Because we think that it doesn't make sense to completely separate digital from other markets, because probably all markets are going to be digitalized up to some extent. As our European Commission likes to say, there are two kinds of industries: the ones that have been digitalized and the ones that are going to be digitalized. So that's what we thought. We need expertise from all industry sectors, people who should focus on the digital, but we should not isolate the digital market analysis from the rest of industry analysis. And we're close to next year. We're going to finish a big project on big data. This will give us tools to look especially at bid rigging. I have high hopes that when we process the database that the government has a large database on public procurement. When we are going to use the big data tools there, we could get more suspicious behavior. So we could have even more bid rigging investigations. I was preparing to say something about, but I won't say it, just a bit, about the telecom market, because that's why I think for a country like Romania, or many countries present here, we are not US. It's not important. Of course, we want big digital companies not to abuse their position. We want as much competition as possible. On the other hand, we want online trading. We want digitalization. So my concern is just not just not to have bad behavior, but also I want this industry to thrive in Romania. I want a higher penetration of digital tools. And for this, I need a well-functioning internet. I want good penetration of internet, good speed. Romania has good speed and good prices now. But I also want to make sure that with the next generation, with 5G, we keep a diversity, a number of suppliers. We have 4 now. As I said, good penetration, good prices, so we have the infrastructure that can support digital services. So yeah, I'm concerned about abuse of digital players, but up to a point I want them there. Yeah, I don't want to shut the door to them, and I want the physical infrastructure for this industry to strive in Romania. Thank you.